Hello and thank you for watching this video where we're going to talk about how EasyTune can make your upgrade life much simpler when upgrading between versions of SCOM, in particular focusing on the side-by-side ones, the difficult ones essentially. I'm going to start with real quick what is EasyTune, just in case you don't know, but I'm basically assuming you know what EasyTune is. If you don't, go and check out the many videos on our YouTube channel and the bits and pieces on our website about it. But at a real high level, EasyTune will let you tune a whole management pack in a few clicks, which means that it's really quick, it's intuitive, easy to use, and that's in part down to the fact that the overrides you want to set up are stored in and manipulated in CSV files. So the people working on those would-be tuning don't have to understand SCOM. All they need to do is understand Excel, which is really good. And importantly, it's a free solution. Just to pick up on the speed piece quickly. So versus the native SCOM console, it takes just 7% of the clicks and is 98.4% quicker. And there's a blog all about that speed gain on our website that's worth checking out. As I say, I'm not going to focus too much on what EasyTune is. I'm going to assume you basically know that already. But what we're going to be talking about specifically today is our side-by-side migration from our old SCOM 2012 R2, which is basically now out of support, and moving to SCOM 2019. It doesn't actually matter which versions we're talking about here. The principles I'll be talking about will apply to any side-by-side migration from any version from SCOM 2012 up to any version including or beyond even 2019. So I've got two management groups here essentially. In my 2012 R2 management group, there are a number of SCOM groups that each have group level tuning applied to them, which is a mixed bag of things we want and things we don't want. I have a bunch of objects distributed among these groups, as you would expect, so that they can be tuned from the group level tuning. I'll have some objects that span groups, perfectly normal, so object C, for example, is a member of Group 1 and Group 2, perfectly normal SCOM stuff. I also have some object-specific tuning, where I've tuned only Object D, bad practice, but it happens, doesn't it? So this is basically the rough gist of what's in my old 2012 R2 deployment. But we don't want all of this to be migrated to SCOM 2019. And I have another problem. I don't actually know where all of my overrides that make this picture up are stored. Some of them are ostensibly named management packs, but some of them are just scatterly stored in the default management pack by some predecessor of mine that clearly wasn't following best practice. Ultimately, it's a bit of a mess, and we want to capture a few specific things only and migrate them across to our new SCOM 2019 deployment. So, specifically, we're going to capture the effective tuning from Groups 1 and Groups 3 from 2012 R2 and all of the tuning applied to this object D, because we're going to use that tuning, only that tuning, in our new 2019 deployment. So if this was a nicely organized SCOM environment, it would be relatively easy to do at least the groups piece, because you'd just copy and paste effectively the management packs. But I don't know where my tuning is stored, so I have to look at what the effective tuning is rather than just moving management packs around. And object-specific tuning, we actually want to manipulate. We don't want all of the effects of Group 1's tuning, only the things that are unique to that object to be captured and used. So, what are we going to do with this tuning? Well, in our new SCOM 2019 deployment, we are going to apply Group 1 tuning to a new group called Group 1 and Group 3 tuning to a new group called Group 3. Essentially, we're happy with the old tuning in these areas. And this Object D's tuning, we're going to apply to a new group called Group 2. And only the tuning that makes up this that is not also part of Group 1. So really important. And then obviously we're going to distribute the objects that are being monitored, the things that are being monitored between our new groups in our new deployment. So that's what we're talking about here specifically, because this would be normally quite a painful process. As I said earlier, if your SCOM deployment was neat, this would be a case of, for Groups 1 and 3, copying management packs across more or less. With a bit of minor editing, Object D's tuning would be a bit more messy, but we don't know where all this stuff is stored in SCOM. But the good news is with EasyTune, we don't actually need to know this. We just need to know what we want to move. So let's dig in. Demo time. So the first thing I'm actually going to show you is a Power BI diagram called a Sankey diagram that gives me a visual on my old SCOM deployment, my 2012 R2 one, as to what's actually going on here. I'm not going to spend loads of time on this. There's a full webinar on this that will give you all of the details. But essentially, this view right here, on the right hand side, we have scope. So what's the target is of our monitoring. So if I look at this one, for example, this is instance level tuning targeting ops 18 DW, that's the object. We can see it's stored in this override management pack, and the overrides actually are tuning these three management packs containing monitoring, essentially. So 3 SQL ones. That's great. That's what kind of I'm hoping things will look like, but in knowing this SCOM deployment, there's all kinds of craziness in here. My favorite one is this BC physical disks overrides one that has tuning in it from multiple scopes and monitoring from all over the place pulled in. It's just a bit of a mess. And annoyingly for my demo, in my slide, my object D is a database that is on this box here. Infra SQL 01, there's stuff in there as well, so there's stuff stored all over the place. Anyway, for the purpose of my demo, the objects and groups that I'm going to be working with are these. So I've got my ops 12 DB object. This is the object D in my example, which is stored on this SQL box. You can see here there's tuning here relating to BizTalk and tuning relating to SQL and some custom MP, probably from the looks of things. If we chased the clicks down, we'd be able to see, what was actually being tuned here, so SQL in this case. But you get the idea. So this object, we have group 1, which was in our slides, which is all SQL tuning. And that's the source management packs. And then we have our group 3, which is a teeny little sliver. I only know which one it was because I was clicking around before I started the webinar. Not much in here, but it's still very important. And that contains Linuxy tuning and from this Linux library. And that's what we're talking about, and also why I can't simply copy and paste these management packs. For some of these, like group 1, that looks pretty sane to me. We have a single override management pack that contains only monitoring relating to SQL. So this one would be pretty safe just to copy and paste. But my object specific one, we want to edit out all the SQL stuff from these places or rather specifically this place. And we want to keep the BizTalk stuff only in here. And also anything to do with this horrible MP, this BC physical disks overrides one, we want to leave behind. So I'm not going to focus more on this, just to say, if you Google Cookdown Sankey, it's the top hit, essentially. It's a free download. The Power BI dashboard looks like this. Fill in the form, you get the download file, and there's a blog article that explains all about it that you can read along with the webinar. But I'm not going to focus on that in this webinar. So now we have a look at EasyTune. This is SCOM 2012, SCOM_12, my old management group. And this is the EasyTune UI. This is EasyTune, the enterprise version, which gives you the ability to capture effective tuning. And we're going to start by doing just that. I'm going to quickly refresh just to make sure I've got all of the correct tuning packs listed. I haven't got anything sort of up my sleeve or anything. And then we're going to capture effective tuning from my group 1 and from my group 3. All right, tuning from a group. Create tuning pack from a group, rather. In the wizard, we're asked which group do we want to capture tuning from, and I'm going with group 1, this guy here. And then it will tell me which management packs are involved in group 1. Are there overrides stored in this management pack, and these are, as we saw from our Sankey diagram, our 3 SQL management packs. That looks good. We want all of those, and we're going to migrate this tuning into a tuning pack, which I'm going to call SCOM 12, group 1 effective tuning. What's today? 29th of March 21. although you don't need to put the date in there, but just to give you the idea, we're going to say we want this to be stored in our custom store, and we're going to hit create. EasyTune will then go and capture all of the effective overrides, which we're going to store in a tuning pack in our custom store, which is actually in this location. So when this is done, we'll go to our local store, which is here, and there's the tuning pack. Look, SCOM_12 Group 1 effective tuning. And just to show you what these look like and what we've got in here, I'm going to open this with Excel, which is part of the power of this thing. You can see it's over 1 meg's worth of CSV, so there's quite a bit in here. Because it's a CSV file, we can use all of Excel's filtering capabilities. So if you wanted to say filter on, show me all the overrides relating to the discovery management pack, you can do that by filtering out the rest. There we go. Just to give you an idea. I'm assuming you've somewhat seen these before, but essentially we've got the management pack in here that the tuning is for. We have the workflow that is tuned. We have the type of workflow. Is it a rule? Is it a discovery? Is it a monitor, etc.? We have the display name of the workflow, the description of the workflow, the override parameter name, which is, workflows have multiple override parameters, overridable parameters. So an example might be the enable disable for a workflow. Another one might be its severity if it raises an alert, all of that kind of thing. We have what type of parameter is this? Is this a Boolean? Is this a number? And then we have the management pack's default value. All of that's standard across all all tuning packs. So column I here, the custom column, is the tuning that was captured from my old SCOM 2012 R2 management group. So here, for example, you can see the default value for this workflow is true, but this has been set to false. You'll see in this column J, if there were any notes given when this override was set, they'll be captured, which is helpful. You can also see where this override comes from in SCOM. So you can see that all of these were stored in a management pack called this, which is really, really useful. You can also see a bunch of blanks in here. So these rows here, for example, when we're capturing the tuning pack, we look at all of the things that are possible to override for the given technologies. Because if you wanted to go and make some tweaks to this, so let's say, for example, you wanted to change this severity from 1 to 2, you can do this without having to merge CSV files. You can just edit this thing, and this will obviously affect the tuning you'll then apply to your new management group, which I'll show you in a second. I'll save that so you get an idea. We'll save that as overriding our existing CSV. And the other thing you'll see is coming through into EasyTune in our old SCOM Management Group, SCOM 2012's this tuning. The tuning pack we applied is here, and the custom level, which is the column, is right here. So we could tune from this straight away. I also need to capture tuning from my group 3. So I'll browse for that. Group 3, there it is. And this is going to be a straightforward next finish job, hopefully. Look, there's only tuning relating to Unix library, which we saw from the Sankey diagram, so no surprises. SCOM_12 group 3 effective tuning 29th of March 21. And I didn't want to actually open it, but there we go. That's that one done, and the final one was my object D, which was going to be in this lab, ops12db specific object. So I'm going to capture tuning from a specific object, and that object was going to be that. So ops12db, it's a database. If you remember my Sankey diagram, going back here for a second, because this one's a little bit more complicated. ops12db is here. We have tuning relating to, from the looks of things, BizTalk and SQL stored across multiple management packs. We only want to keep the bits related to BizTalk. We don't want to keep the rest of it. So when I go next on this wizard, it will calculate the list of all of the management packs where there is tuning in effect, an override set for this object. So what I'm expecting to see is a bunch of SQL stuff and BizTalk. So in this case, I should be safe just to remove all of the ones that say SQL Server and just keep only this line that relates to BizTalk. There's one small wrinkle to doing that, which is, if I go back into Sankey, this guy. I only wanted to keep the tuning related to this custom destination MP, which contains SQL, and not the tuning that's also, in effect for group 1, which is for this, is also for SQL. So basically, I don't want to lose all the overrides that are stored in here. So remember that when we go through the tuning. In the wizard, I can't actually remove that by name of override management pack. So we'll keep everything for now, and I'll show you how we do that in a second. SCOM_12. What was this? Ops 12 DB effective overrides 29th of March. And again, we'll store it in our custom store. And then we'll edit this using Excel to hack out the bits that I don't want to see, which is really, really easy. And the reason why it's really easy is when this completes, you'll see. While it's loading, I'm going to get into the right place so I can see. Oh, I just saw it refresh. Here it is, my effective override CSV file. It's massive, look. For a CSV file, 1.5 MB, but there we go, that's okay. We'll open it with Excel. And here we go. So what we're going to do in here to filter out the stuff I don't want to take with me, I'm going to filter on this column K, which is the effective tuning that's been captured. Where did it come from? I'm going to filter out anything that comes from which one was it now? These guys here. We want to keep our custom destination MP and our BizTalk and filter out these. So now we get only the overrides I don't want to see, and then this is a CSV file, remember, and column I contains the tuning. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and just delete it all, which is really, really easy. I can delete column, I've forgotten the column header number. It was column K, wasn't it, as well, like that. So there's no trace of it in the CSV file. So now all I'm left with is the BizTalk stuff and the stuff from the MP, the custom destination MP I want to keep. So I'll save this. Another thing to note while I'm doing this is I only remove the values, not the lines. And that's because if I wanted to set additional tuning in place of what I removed, I would need those lines in the CSV file. So we're going to overwrite the one I created. All right. So now I have basically captured my effective tuning. Just going back to my slide for a second. I've got my group 1, I've got my group 3, and object D was my ops 12 DB. I've captured all of that. It's all stored in CSV, so we're in the middle of transition now. Going back to my demo lab, we're going to now connect to my SCOM 2019 Management Group, which is this one. Okay, so now SCOM 2019 is loaded. You can see the first thing that's important is my custom store is clearly set to the same location as the one for my old SCOM 2012 R2 management group. And I know that because these 3 tuning packs are here automatically. Those are the ones we captured. Let me just side by side. These ones that we captured from my old 2012 group, those 3. In fact, all of the tuning packs are the same in the custom store. So we know it's the same bunch of locations. So that's good. So now we can simply tune from them. So in this case, we're going to set group 1's tuning. We're going to tune from this. We're going to tune a specific group. And we're going to tune my new group, which is called group 1. But 1 spelled O-N-E rather than the number, just to make it clear. And we're going to select my custom level, which is the one that contains the captured tuning. You can see here the summary of what will be set in SCOM. I'm not going to use the schedule for this one. I'm going to automatically create a new management pack and hit finish. The management pack that's going to be created will be called this, so you can see where it's going to be stored, and this summary will be stored on the knowledge tab of the management pack that's created, so you can tell what's there. Also, we timestamp it and say who, enter user stamp it, so you can see who did who did this tuning. And that should be that one. We're going to do the same thing for group 2. We're going to tune from the group 2 tuning pack. Okay, that's done. You can see tuned groups 1. We're going to now tune group 3. Same idea, tune a group and select group 3. Group 3. There we go. Next. And again, we'll select our custom level. So in this one, same deal. We see everything that was set. Next, no schedule. Automatically create management pack. Finish. It takes roughly, well, that took maybe 5 seconds to set. Not very much tuning, but with the other one, there was quite a bit that was being tuned there. It didn't take very long at all. The final one, which is worth looking at, is tuning from the tuning pack we created from a specific object, and that's the tuning we're going to apply to our new group 2. While that's refreshing, we'll just look at the slide one more time. So object 2 was our ops 12 dB. We're going to apply that tuning that we captured to our new group here called group 2. And the tuning pack in question was this one. So obviously this is a demo lab, so I haven't bothered renaming my tuning packs to make them a bit more kind of representative of what monitoring was actually in there. I've just called them names so I know what they are. In reality, you would give them better names. This is just to illustrate the point. So we're using this tuning pack from our specific objects that we captured for our group 2. And again, we're going to select our custom level, and this is the tuning, post my edits, of course. So you can see in what's being tuned, we've only got BizTalk, and then this is presumably the sets of overrides that were from the custom MP for overrides thing that we decided to keep. We don't want to schedule, and we want to default the creative management packs. Just take a look at how big this list is here. There's a load of stuff in here. I would say that's probably, well, we can have a look in the tuning pack, maybe 600 rows or something. In fact, while that tuning is going through, let's have a little look. How much tuning is in there? Because this will give you a gauge as to how long it will take. It should take, I would guess, a minute and a half. So, wow, there's 4,000 rows in there, but they don't all contain tuning. Let's just filter on this column for a second. On this custom column to filter out the blanks, we have what? Okay, 507 including the title. So 500 odd rows of tuning, which is quite a bit. And that was still going through. It's been going for while I've been talking, not that long really, for how much is in there. And there we go, that's done. So it didn't take that long. So you can see when we talk about claims of speed, what we mean exactly. It is pretty quick. And that's how quick and effective would be for actually tuning in production. So what we've done, just to recap, is we've captured effective tuning from our SCOM 2012 Management Group, from SCOM Groups 1 and 3, and from our specific object, ops 12 dB, and we've applied that tuning to new scopes, to 3 new groups, group 1, group 2 and group 3. And that's what we've done, and it took, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or something. So really quick and easy to do, and that's really all there is to it, and how EasyTune can make your life so much easier. All the info on EasyTune is on our site, so if you go under free tools, you have EasyTune free, which is just fill in the download form and you get a link to it basically, which is at the bottom somewhere. But then also there's EasyTune Enterprise, which contains this functionality, the capture effective tuning feature, SCOM 2019 migration toolkit essentially. And all the prices and everything you need is on here. If you want a demo or to ask any specific questions, there's places on this page that will let you do that. So that is everything I had to show you today. So thank you for watching. Hopefully that's been useful and has made sense. Thank you.